on these triangles, they should be exactly the same, unlike mine. The shortest side should be 1, and you should have your angles in there as follows. Are we at that point? These triangles come up over and over and over again, but before we go any further, we need to fill them out because they're not completely full yet. I can tell one piece of information without anything else. What is that piece of information that I can draw without needing to be taught anything else?
The hypotenuse.
Hypotenuse of the 45, which is?
Root 2.
Root 2. 1 squared plus 1 squared is? A squared plus B squared equals C squared, correct? 1 squared plus 1 squared equals? 2. Square root of 2 is? C. So that's that triangle there. Same for both, make sure you get this clearly. 4 out of 30, 60, it's a little bit tricky. Or 4 out of pi and 3 pi and 6. It's a little bit trickier. My advice to remember what I'm about to tell you is to try to remember that the hypotenuse always has 2 in it. Always has 2. In this case, it's not root 2, it is just a complete 2. So that's something you just need to remember. Shortest side's 1, and the hypotenuse always has a 2 in it. These triangles will get you out of trouble. You need to remember them off by heart. Once you've got that, you can actually figure out the last side. Using Pythag. A squared plus B squared equals?
C squared.
C squared. I know my C is what?
2.
2 squared. A is?
1.
And B is unknown. So now I've got 1 plus B squared equals 4. B squared equals 3. B equals root 3. Clear with that? Trust me when I tell you, you will need to know these off by heart. You will need to know these triangles off by heart. It is hard to remember all that information, so trying to give ourselves some shortcuts can be a good idea. They're both the same thing. For argument's sake, what I'm going to use is use the radian measures up here. And we're going to go through that. Are we good so far? Anything that I've said that is not okay? So, on this table here, this is how we can also remember it if we are struggling on recalling our triangles. Or the triangles help us fill out the table. I want you to write the following values in. And below that, we're going to draw our Cartesian plane with our circle. What circle? Unit circle. Now, what did we know yesterday? What can you tell me about yesterday? We picked up a few things. It was a unit circle. A unit circle has a radius of 1. The x value is given by cos theta, and the y value is given by. Does it matter if it's radians or degrees or not?
Does that have to be degrees?
It doesn't have to be either radians or degrees. You just need to make sure, obviously, if you use your calculator, it's in the right settings. Radians and degrees are the same thing. It's just a different number. Same measurement. They're both measuring angle. It's just a different conversion. Cool? And what was tan theta again? Tan theta equals sin theta over cos theta. So they're 3 of the 5 things that we had to take home yesterday. So without doing anything else about the triangles, don't even worry about the triangles, can we fill out 5 values on this table? What values can we fill out? Give me one of the ones we can fill out. Yep, the 0. So what sine is 0? So when the angle's 0, where will that start? Where will that be? Tell me when to stop. Here, correct?
Yeah.
So what's the y value there? What's the x value? 1. As the radius is 1, correct? Okay, and what does tan equal? 0 divided by 1, which is? %20 of the table's been filled out. Ethan, can you help me fill out another 2 columns? Or 2, not column, or 2 parts of a column. Where's pi on 2 occur? In degrees. Well, what's a full circle? Yeah, in radians? 2 pi. What's half a circle? Pi. So what's a quarter of a circle? So that's pi on 2, correct? So what can you tell me about that point? What's y equal? Yep, and y is equal to sine. So wouldn't pi on sine pi on 2 will equal? What about cos pi on 2? What's my x value there?
0.
Very good. Bonus mark for now I can tell what tan theta is. Undefined. Why is it undefined? Yeah, I'm just going to write not possible, but undefined is correct. Can't divide by 0.